So I watched this video by Canada Jin, and it was titled "Japanese People Ignore Strangers," and basically the point of her video was is that Japanese people don't get involved when people are acting out of line or if there's a problem. Everybody just kind of keeps to themselves, and everything she said in the video I could relate to and I agree with, and I can confirm that what she's saying is right because I myself have lived here for 15 years. So I just wanted to add to this her video by giving a few personal uh, personal experiences that I had relating to how Japanese people don't get involved. But first I want to tell you a story about how I did get involved and what happened. I can't tell you how many times I've seen just like a drunk guy laying there on the street like, help me, he's just like unconscious or whatever. And there's like, the Japanese people are like, ant workers just by the hundreds of thousands just walking around this one dude laying on the street. I've seen that situation so many times. I remember this one day I was walking to the park. I saw this dude laying in the middle of the street. He had blood trickling down his head. There was people walking by, people looking at him, but nobody, going to help him. I'm like, dude, this can't be right, So I go up to him and I'm like, dude, are you okay? And like he kind of like propped himself up. I didn't want to move him because I didn't know what had happened to him. But he was in the middle of the street, so he could get run over by a car. And so I tried to get him, we got him to the side of the road, and it's like, as soon as I jumped in to help him, then other people came and helped. But nobody wanted to break that conformity of not helping. But when they saw me do it, then they had enough courage to come up and help him. And on top of that, they were like, okay, Gaijin, thank you very much, but go away now. The adults are here to take care of the real problems. Okay, my first story is, I was going to work one day, and I was riding the subway, and here in Japan on the trains, there's signs up in the train that says, don't talk on your cell phone. But this lady was talking on her phone, just full blast, and she was annoying. And I was sitting next to her, and there was an older dude sitting next to her, like a 50-year-old dude, and the dude's like, get off your phone right now. Can't you see the sign right there? And he's like breathing down her face like this, and he's just like going off on her. And then he starts like, pushing her and pushing her arm away. And I was like, whoa, dude, hands off. And I gave him a verbal warning. I didn't want to take it to the physical level. So when the train stopped at the next station, I got out of the train. I went to the conductor's area, because I didn't know how much more physical it was going to get. I didn't know what this guy was going to do. And I told the conductor, the train driver, I said, like, there's a fight going on in this car right here. And he says, okay, thank you. And so I went back on. I got back on the same car because I wanted to watch this dude. I wanted to make sure he didn't hurt her. And so I just sat there, and he's still going off on her. He's like, breathing down her neck. And she's just ignoring him. She's totally ignoring him, not even acknowledging his existence. I imagine her reaction pissed him off even more. And she was in the wrong. But, I was worried about her physical safety. So the train gets to the next stop, and as soon as the doors open up, there's like security and a couple of staff standing there, like 4 or 5 dudes. They come in, they drag the guy out, and as the train rolled away, our eyes met. And he realized that I was the one that had reported him, and he gave me this look of death, this red laser beam death stare, and he's like, "Kono kuso gaijin me clear!" And as the train rolled off into a tunnel and we lost sight of each other, he's just standing there shaking his fist, and these security guards are holding him back. In that moment, man, he hated gaijin so much, he was probably like, I'm never going to eat a hot dog again. Now my second story where I purposely didn't get involved was this time I went on a snowboard trip, and we were taking an overbus ride from Osaka to Nagano, and then the bus ride was from like 12 at night to like 8 in the morning, so everybody expected to sleep. And by the way, I don't recommend you take these overnight bus trips unless you're really small, because I'm 6'1", I'm sitting in this seat, I couldn't even put my knees out in front of me. I had to like open my legs and stick one leg into the aisle just to get it was so uncomfortable. And so this group of high school kids gets on the bus, and they're just yapping and yapping away, which, was cool at first because everybody's hyped and excited to go to Nagano and go snowboarding and skiing, and everybody's wearing their ski gear and stuff, even though we're in Osaka and it's like not even snowing there. But so, these kids are pretty rowdy for like the first hour, and it's understandable. And as we leave, the bus driver makes an announcement. He's like, all right, we're going to go to Nagano. It's going to take 8 hours. I'm a boring ass bus driver. And basically the bus driver, tells everybody to settle down and stuff. But like 2 hours into the trip, 3 hours into the trip, these high school kids are still rowdy. There's like, and nobody could get any rest because they're talking so loud. They're really excited. And I wanted to tell them, shut your clam hole. But I said, okay, I'm going to be Japanese. I'm going to do it the Japanese way. I'm not going to get involved. So I went to the bus driver and I said, hey man, look, it's been like 3 hours. Nobody can sleep because these kids are so loud. Can you please tell them to quiet down? Of course, I said it in a way more polite way in my like sucky ass Japanese, but I got my point across. His thing, man, he just wanted to drive the bus. He's like, please, I just want to get to Nagano so I can go to sleep and get my paycheck. So he didn't really do anything. He made an announcement, but he did it in his like little weak, excuse me, I'm trying to drive the bus. Can you please be quiet? But it didn't work. Nothing changed. And so I'm just like, well, I guess I'm not going to get any sleep tonight. So like a little while later, man, I guess this one dude just couldn't take it anymore. He was sitting about 5 seats ahead of me. He was there with his wife and his 2 kids. He stands up. He turns around. He's like, didn't you hear the goddamn bus driver? Shut the up! And they just sat up and they were like, whoa, man, the boss just rolled in the house. And I respected that dude. He made it all quiet. After that, it was all peaceful. Everybody was able to sleep. So this dude got involved and he made a good change. Japanese people usually don't get involved, but sometimes there's a hero in there who gets involved and he makes a change. And hey, man, maybe if you come to Japan, you can be that hero too. I don't know. When you're a foreigner, they look at you a different way. Sometimes you don't get the respect you deserve. But anyways, these are just some stories about, what happens when you get involved and what happens when you don't get involved. And I hope that sheds a little bit of light on the topic, and I hope you enjoyed the stories. Anyways, guys, take care and peace out.